What up, YouTube? Sorry if I sound a little bit under the weather, I definitely am. So if you don't live under a rock, you saw that DE Train is back out. One of my favorite maps, first playing it since I was a little kid. I genuinely felt giddy like I've never been before. Some of these CS updates are finally starting to pay off. It's nice to see Valve showing a little bit of love for their game. Yeah, so we're just going to watch a POV. I'm just going to ramble a little bit about Train because I think Train is actually good. People are going to talk shit about it right away, right off the rip. You kind of already are seeing a little bit of hate happening on the timeline. But I think it plays well, and I think that there's a lot of potential strategy changes, and it's not going to be the same map that I've been playing since fucking 2006. We're bound to see a genuine shift, I think, in tactics and the way the game plays, and I'm kind of excited to see how it plays out. This was already my third or fourth Train game. The other games were straight up CT-sided as fuck because we didn't really know what we were doing. As we continued to play, you sort of figure out how T-mid works out. So you're going to see a lot of like T-mid rushes and a lot of aggressive plays, sort of just limit testing with the brand new map, right? But I don't know. I genuinely love the way that the map looks. It plays well. There's definitely some funny elements. We're going to have to learn new grenades, and you can see I absolutely learned this grenade loading into the map tutorial. Thanks, Valve. Very useful. Much appreciated. But yeah, I genuinely like the map. I think it plays well. You're going to see a lot of engagements like that where we're just over peaking and we're trying to find some duels and test it out. But we're really just having fun. Train historically was a CD-sided map for as long as I can remember. And with the current change to ladder room, or I guess long pop as people are calling it, or I'll still call it ladder personally, but with the changes to ladder actually make this map kind of T-sided now, the way that T-mid works. CTs don't have any instant aggressive lines unless they go through Ivy. I'm excited. I don't know. The current map pool is so dog water that anything at this point is a monumental upgrade. I've been seeing a lot of hate for the map already, and it's kind of crazy to me. It's clear that Valve was going for a new approach with the aesthetic of the map and trying to open up a lot more aim duels. Like, outside is so open. Look at all these long-range engagements that you could be taking at all times. So many smokes down, it doesn't matter. There's still plenty of room to maneuver. I don't know. I'm a big fan. You're basically just going to see us running at them for this first few rounds. I think it might be one of their first games, but we're straight up just testing. Yeah, ignore my wonky jump throw. We're straight up just testing outside, seeing how well they can hold. We were getting dumpstered on T-side earlier by passive teams, so figured why not. See how it plays. One thing to note is that the performance on the map does not feel bad. It's crazy how a map like Ancient has been out for however many years at this point. But just running through T-spawn has our FPS dipping to 150. Like, I'm pretty steady over 250, which is, I'm using a 240 hertz monitor, so it's ideal for me. Just maintaining that refresh rate at least. But the performance is good, the map looks good, the rain effect on your guns and your knife is, it's obvious that that Valve is headed in a more modern look for their game, and I think it comes from a visual appeal. People want to see a pretty game. Valorant has nice looking skins and cool looking animations, and even though that's not what we need in CS, personally, I don't have a problem with them attempting to elevate the appeal of the map in comparison to CSGO, and maybe I'll throw in a screenshot of what CSGO used to look like. It's not great. Counter-Strike has become, I mean, the gameplay itself will never change, but the map pool has become stale. It's necessary for Valve to make a change like this every once in a while, and I hate to see people shitting on them instantly. This map is genuinely good, and maybe I am 100% biased because I liked the map before. There needed to be a good op map. It's one thing that we're missing was a good op map for individual players to really pop off. Everything has become so smoke dominated and utility focused where you can't do anything without breaking nades. I'm sure we'll see a return to that eventually once people actually learn grenades. This is a kind of a nice round for me. John G said it looked like I was aimbotting, and on second watch I kind of agree. Kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't have an ego, guys, I promise. Yeah, I mean, straight up is us just rushing T-mid every single round. You can see they don't really have an answer. I'll show you guys some utility that I found earlier. I think is going to be the counter to a T-mid rush from the CT perspective. There's plenty of special nades you can throw. Trust me. Guarantee you guys haven't seen what I cooked up already. Stick around till the end of the video, and you'll be able to see some nice CT mollies. And maybe a good T-side nade. Yeah, so we're kind of just dunking on them on this T-side, but This is really us just finally getting comfortable, and the other team not really having an adjustment. The new way to get into ladder, by the way, is kind of crazy. Like, getting here as a T used to be a lot easier. Ladder control was always difficult for CTs because the Ts could contest you from 2 different angles, but now they can really only contest you from T mid instantly, which I personally think is a great change. The CTs had a little bit too much control on outside, and I think that duel directly, where CTs will want to run into ladder, gives Ts a great chance at an opening exchange. Ladder becomes less of an instant focus, right? I don't know if you haven't played CS2 or you didn't play 1.6. Ladder room is an incredibly important part of the map. Super focused, a lot of attention. Now it's sort of become like a secondary thought, which ultimately is a good idea. I feel like it's a good idea from Valve making that kind of change. Like I mentioned earlier, Counter-Strike gets, the gameplay will never change, but the maps get stale. And I think that's what ultimately drives a lot of player retention. On this one, you'll see me just kind of yeeting some nades into T-mid. I'm really just trying to test the waters and see what kind of util works. Because even after playing, this would be my 3rd or 4th game, I don't know, it wasn't very clear on how the Ts were rushing mid. Obviously, a lot of people aren't learning the utility, which, if you haven't, guys, the game literally made a tutorial for you. All you gotta do is just load in. Super easy. Before you play, go learn some util. That's just a classic. Get 2 nice kills. Can't hit the 3rd headshot. Similar to the T side, you are going to see some experimentation on the CT. Like, people are kind of sending it. We're, like, pushing into Pop Dog and trying to make plays. I think with the way that the brown hulls works now is if the CTs are not contesting deep and the Ts get that much ladder control, it actually makes outside pretty difficult. So CTs kind of need to play for brown hull more often, holding deeper lines, making sure that they're holding the broken wall. Kind of a dynamic change. And I like Valve taking liberties like this and experimenting. One quality of life thing is them sticking it in competitive and gathering a bunch of statistics first. I'm sure they have heat maps. I'm sure they have a lot of data to tell them what needs to change, where the changes might need to happen. This, by the way, is one of my favorite angles in the game, even back in CSGO, even 1.6. Going top red and fighting at a teammate, you get that vertical advantage. Very difficult to clear, especially if Ts are doing this heavy kind of defaulting in T-mid. You're going to see them just going T-mid often. But the difference in playstyle is kind of obvious. You can see it. So for me, this is actually one of my favorite parts of the map is these long distance engagements. I love using a scout. So anytime I'm in a situation like this and I get to post on some deep lines, I'm a fan. I think the map is just as CT-sided as ever. Until Ts properly learn how to utilize their nades and drawing rotations, it's going to be pretty CT-sided. Because of the way the ladder works now, those rotations to inner take quite a while. Like this flank right here. It takes a little bit. So if you can get the CTs moving and pull rotations towards inner and walk your way outside, those are the kind of movements that are going to make the T side really, really good. Yeah, I'm even just watching this. My FPS stays pretty stable. It's really nice to see, considering how the performance on some maps are genuinely not up to par. We've been seeing Valve put a lot of effort into the networking portion of the game, and I love it, because there was clearly some networking issues. People blame subtick, but I think we see on the back end it's more than just subtick. But I would like to see them focus on some performance solutions. I don't think you should have to have a supercomputer to play this game, personally. Considering the excuse, we heard often that they didn't want to force 128 tick servers due to player performance, but I think we know that's kind of cap. Yeah. Just showing top red, one of the best angles in the game against noobs. This whole change to Ivy is like kind of crazy. Yeah, overall though, rant aside, I do genuinely enjoy this map, and I think it plays really well. And I'm excited to see Valve make more changes like this. If they took any map, fucking Dust 2, Mirage, changing it visually without changing more than 1 or 2 elements of the map is huge. Really, the main change was just ladder room. Ivy has slightly changed, but it just took away some deep lines. And I think those are the kind of changes that we need on a map like this to keep it from being stale and losing its flavor. Alright, so here are the nades that I think you guys should be using to stop a T mid-rush. This is best if you have a second friend with you throwing something from Ivy, but for your own nade set, basically just rip a molly, something like this. Middle of the window, up to the beam, and you're just going to hit it with a run throw. It's going to spread nicely. It's not going to let any Ts poke into this corner to fight the ladder guy running up. So, molly like this, and then you're going to jump on the bomb train. And what you're looking for is there's this text right here. I guess it's just some tape, actually. Use the tape as a guide and aim up to the window. That HE is going to dunk on any oppers that are trying to take some deep lines and look for any opening picks. So that molly nade combo is a pretty good way to stop any kind of aggression early on. What you want your friend to do, or you could try to communicate this with someone in your game. What you're going to want to do is ask the Ivy player to start with a molly for Olaf. And the way to throw this would be, this is a work in progress, but once you basically see this AC, you can just hit it with a run throw. And I think that molly is going to help stop any Ts that are looking for safety as they get out mid. There isn't too many safe places for him to play. And it also kind of just opens up that line. So let's say you're an opper, and you hit it with the pre-molly, and you're then waiting for the guy to try and escape from behind the box. And alternatively, this is something special. It definitely requires a little bit of practice. I wouldn't throw this in your first game without giving it a run. You're going to stick your ass on this corner, and you're going to follow the window. You're going to follow the top window to the second window. And you're going to hit that little run throw. This is if you want to take like full T mid control. You add in one of these with a molly here. You make sure that the only place they can be is stuck on one of the sides. Then you can smoke off the entrance. T mid is basically yours once you just like run at these guys and clear them out of the corners. So if you use that same gap in the wall, you can actually throw a T nade to do damage on any CTs trying to run up to ladder room instantly. You could see how a CT that's running up T mid, he throws his primo and he's trying to get up here safely. And you just naded him in the head for 40 damage. And this is some typical pathing from a CT they might take. Ass on the wall, out to the beam. I guess it works as a molly too. Stop any CTs from taking ladder, guys. But yeah, those are genuinely my thoughts on Train. I think this map's sick. I think you guys should play it. Yeah, let me know down in the comments down below, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit this video with a like, and if you do, I'll love you forever. If you watched this far into the video, comment with a smiley face so I know you're a true homie.